Good evening, everyone. I will go ahead and call tonight's meeting, December 9th, 2025, our regular Board of Director meeting to order. Thank you to those attending our meeting in person, joining us over Zoom, and those staying engaged by watching our recording at a later time. The public is reminded that if they wish to speak during community comment, they will need to fill out a speaker form located in the back of the room on the table and turn the form in to Board Secretary Kim Coven, seated at the end of the table on my left. Comments will take place during the designated community comment portion of our agenda. Before we dive into tonight's agenda, I want to take a moment to introduce those seated at the table with me. To my right, we have Superintendent Degner, Director Icestone, Director Eastham, and Director Williams. I'm President Malone. To my left, we have Vice President Abraham, Director Finch, and Director Lingo, as well as Board Secretary Kim Coven. And with that, we will dive into our first item on the agenda, which is approval of tonight's agenda.
I move approval of the agenda for this meeting, December 9th, 2025.
Second.
Board Secretary Coven, ready to vote?
Online voting is open. All votes have been cast and the motion carries with all directors voting in favor.
Thank you. Next up, we will hear from our student representatives. And first up, we have the update report from Tate High via video.
Baby.
Hi, this is Azaya.
Anaya.
Bree, and Jenna from Tate's Media Protections team. A lot of different things have been happening.
We have had a lot of career-related opportunities recently. The managing partner at Delta Equity Capital came and spoke to students about business and financial careers.
The students went to the district physical plant and learned about many different constructions-related careers.
A group of students who are potentially interested in a career in education went to the CFI to learn about and discuss teaching and education. After completing trimester 1, students are awarded certificates for classroom honors, excellent attendance, and way of the warrior, and many more.
And culinary arts students had put in a hand creation of assortment of yummy dishes for Thanksgiving.
On Tuesday, before break, students enjoyed games, relaxing, and chatting with friends. We also had a variety of pies to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Throughout November, we had a food drive. We ended up sending 54 bags of food home with students and their family. Second trimester, we welcomed 20 new students to our building.
We're looking forward to the next few weeks before winter break.
Toodles!
All right, that concludes Tate High's update. And next we will hear from West High, Waleed and Eddie.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Great. Sorry, just let us get it pulled up. We've had a very long day. We just coming back from our debate practice. Yeah, and we had spit before, so definitely a little time crunched, as you can tell.
Okay.
But with the end of our football season, we ended with 3 seniors becoming D1 commits, which is Ethan Headings, Julian Manson, and Colin Witters. Our girls basketball team has beat Mount Vernon, Waukee, and Cedar Rapids Jefferson, making them 3-1 currently. Our boys team has beaten Ottumwa, I believe. Yeah. And our swim team, for our girls, we placed second at conference, And our boys, who are ranked number 1, had their first win in their first meet against Kennedy. Cross country still has their winter running throughout the track season, which both of our teams are preparing for right now. We've had practices after school during the weight room on specific days for each gender team, and we are very ready for the season.
But that's just athletics. Let's talk about clubs. Honestly, clubs, it's been a bloodbath. No, like literally, the Red Cross Club actually is. They're hosting a blood drive this Friday, and participants are getting Amazon gift cards. So that's definitely pretty cool to see that they're taking initiative. Apart from that, the debate team is going pretty strong. Faisal Hamza received a bid to the Tournament of Champions, which is extremely prestigious, as well as Ella Haim in congressional debate. Apart from that, Lauren Bargis, a first year, has just won her 4th tournament this weekend and is doing absolutely phenomenal. Apart from that, talking more about cultural clubs, the BSU is setting up speakers from the University of Iowa, as well as another movie night, since the first one was a hit among all types of groups. Additionally, Unidos is also setting up a movie night for students to watch The Elf. 2 weeks ago, MSA, along with other cultural clubs such as the SSO, Unidos, BSU, and BLSU, had an Epcot night, where all of them bring dishes from their traditional cultures or just food that they resonate with in order to share their culture with other people at the event. So that was additionally very cool. And the Babel Club, as well as planning another cultural gallery walk for later in the future, are planning to have a bake sale on the 12th to fundraise. Last but not least, Community Connect, in spirit of Thanksgiving, as you know, Turkey Day just came up, hosted a huge food drive, and it was extremely successful.
We're preparing for a second pep rally later in January, with new games recommended by the students, with the announcements of our Spirit Week winners the week before gaining their prizes on a big stage. Speaking of stage, in music, we just had our first play of the year, which is, I think, is Peter Pan and the Starcatcher, which is the prequel to Peter Pan. It's really nice, very interesting, very, very interesting, which had students on their feet, figuratively. With our student-led organization, their first performance from Cadenza was a hit, so they're having their next one, I believe, this week on the VU rooftop, and the donations and the payments that they're getting from that is going to Save the Music Charity Foundation, which is a charity focused on providing information and resources to public schools.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much. Next up, we will hear from Liberty High's John and Mia.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. So Liberty has had a lot of stuff going on recently. We had our finals for trimester 1. That went really well. And then following that, we had a wonderful fall break. On December 17th, the annual Career Care event will be held at Kirkwood Regional Center in Coralville to help students explore potential career paths by connecting with local businesses. Students from Liberty this past week went to a hackathon in Cedar Rapids, which was really awesome. I also went. And they performed really well and went through tasks of programming.
For our extracurriculars, the National Honor Society is holding their first ever coin drive. All the proceeds go to the North Liberty Food Pantry. For our Difference Makers Club, they held their 3rd annual Winterfest event. They had local vendors, a tree auction, free food, and much more. And all of their proceeds go to the Stead Family Children's Hospital. And so far, we've raised over $10,000. The Lightning Traders, Liberty's stock exchange club, closed out trading for the Wharton Global Investment Competition last week. They'll be turning in their final documents as the competition closes out this week. Liberty Math Team has been growing rapidly. Students in the club recently took the American Mathematics Competition Qualifying Exam, the AMC 10 and 12. Additionally, the team has been attending competitions in the Great Plain Math League, which gives students an opportunity to go to state, national, and international competitions. Last week, the robotics team also competed in another meet. Some won, some lost. This Saturday, they will be heading to their last meet before the final championships begin. For our sports, the Liberty football team was the runner-up in the 5A state championships after defeating 4-time defending state champions Southeast Polk and second-ranked Waukee Northwest. Both wrestling and basketball have just began their season, but we're looking forward to see their progress throughout the season.
Okay. There's lots of performing arts things going on right now. Liberty's jazz bands are going to competitions now. We just recently had their first winter concert. Additionally, the Liberty bands and concert bands will be performing their shows very soon, as well as pep bands coming up with tons of sports. And along with that, jazz bands will be performing at a competition on Wednesday, the 17th at Simpson College.
All right, and that's all we have for you today, and thank you so much.
Thank you. And finally, we will hear from City High, Alma and Tobiah.
Hi everyone. There's been a lot going on at City High this past couple of weeks, and we're very excited to be preparing for winter break. But before that, there's a lot going on, so we'll start off with music. We have a band concert tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Then next week, choir and orchestra will collaborate in a Masterworks concert, also Wednesday at 7 p.m. Then this Saturday, show choir and jazz band are collaborating for the winter show. We have performances at 3 and 7. It should be really, really fun, so make sure to come to that. Yeah, now to sports.
All right, our girls basketball team is 5-0, and the girls and boys teams both won their recent wrestling duels. City High has had 2 athletes nominated for Press Citizen Athlete of the Week. They are, hold on, Amelia Terrell and Caitlin Loria, right?
Amelia Terrell, Caitlin Luria. In terms of clubs, Rob Bacon Robotics is hosting a big tournament this Saturday, and they are really excited for that. City High Math Club will also be hosting a tournament this Saturday, and they're excited that they have 3 members qualified, half of a team, for the state competition already. Mock Trial will be attending a workshop at Cornell College this Saturday, which should be really helpful for our program. And Quiz Bowl has qualified a team for nationals, so they're excited to attend that, and they're hoping to qualify a second team before the competition.
All right, every time we gather information for what to tell you, whoa, hopefully that's not my fault. Every time we gather information for these meetings, journalism always seems to have something to tell us, and this meeting is no different. Our staff editorial at the Little Hawk has been nationally recognized by as Best of State by SNO, which is like a journalism organization. Student Senate is in the planning and preparing stages of its winter hunger drive and carnivals. The hunger drive is going to be, I believe, mid-January. The carnival probably later in February. But we have gotten confirmation from the Hy-Vees that they're going to let us do the hunger drive, which is great, and was a big problem last year because there was a manager at that Hy-Vee. She was not very good at communicating, but it's irrelevant now, which is great news for everyone. Okay. We also had 191 National Honor Society inductees this year, which is nuts. City High's French program went on a field trip today to an art museum in Waterloo. Did you know that the biggest collection of Haitian art outside of Haiti is in Waterloo, Iowa? Apparently it is. I was there. It was very cool. And also our entire 10th grade class recently went to the Kirkwood Career Fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Get home safe. Next up, we will have our ICA update from President Brady Shutt.
Hi, Brady Shutt, President of the Iowa City Education Association, President Malone, Vice President Abraham, Director, Superintendent Degner. Thanks for having me tonight. Just 4 thank yous on the topic of staff engagement, something that I know we've talked about a lot. So first, Chief Human Resources Officer Nick Proud and his HR team have deployed the first stay surveys, something I know we're all excited about to continue and to see the results of. Yesterday afternoon, Eliza Proctor, Executive Director for Elementary Teaching and Learning, had an amazing work group session with kindergarten teachers and some administrators on figuring out ways to help some of our youngest students be even more successful. Shout out to Superintendent Degner for coming to the ICE. He survived the ICEA leadership team meeting. Did fantastic as always. And the topic was to discuss how to have more effective ongoing engagement with staff. So I get some really good results from that I'll be sharing with him this week. And then after our successful cell phone collab, Lucas and I are continuing to take our show on the road as we work with Carmen to put together teams that are working on programming here at the CFI related to innovative programs as well as concurrent enrollment opportunities for teachers and staff in the district. So really great engagement that I want to make sure we get recognized. And also, just most importantly, to Director Sean Eystone on behalf of the Iowa City Education Association, just to give you my sincere, thank you and appreciation for everything that you've done for us. Your leadership and dedication and service to us and to our district in some of our most challenging times has led us to really great levels of success. So thank you very much. It's appreciated.
Thank you. Next up, we will have community comment. Thank you for your interest in the Iowa City Community School District and for your willingness to share your comments. You are reminded to give your name, address, and topic on which you plan to speak about. During community comment, persons may speak to the board about topics relevant to the district. Speakers who make comments are reminded that they are responsible for their own statements and may be subject to legal action for those which include hate speech and that are threatening, harassing, or defamatory in nature. It is expected that speakers will address the board and each other with civility and abide by the stated time limits. All community comment directed at non-agenda items and agenda items shall take place at the beginning of the meeting and will be limited to 4 minutes per speaker and 5 minutes for speakers who has the assistance of an interpreter. Speakers' time limit will be displayed on an iPad on the ledge in front of Board Secretary Ms. Colvin, and an alarm will sound once the speaker's time has expired. The initial community comment period will be limited to an hour. Remaining community comment, to the extent necessary, will take place at the end of the meeting. The board will not engage in any discussion during public comment. The role of the board during this time is to listen. Any individual who does not abide by these rules or otherwise disrupts the meeting may be asked to leave and/or referred to law enforcement. And with that, our first speaker of the night is Becky Ross, right here.
Okay, I am representing, and my friend Maureen in the green shirt behind me, are representing 100 Grannies for a Livable Future. We're a group that advocates and educates on environmental issues, and we want to talk about plastic. Maureen recently talked to Allison Demery, who is the Director of Nutrition Services for Iowa City Community Schools. And we want you to thank her for participating in a plastic-free lunch day on November 17th, 2025. Plastic-free lunch day was started by elementary students in New York City to reduce or eliminate single-use plastics in school lunches. They knew that for every 100,000 student lunches served in New York City, $8,000 was spent for packaging and serving utensils. They calculated that if every school in the U.S. reduced 2 pieces of plastic per school lunch each day, this would reduce plastic waste by 10 billion pieces per school year. Currently, 3,000 schools across the country participate in Plastic-Free Lunch Day. Plastics are harmful because it takes 100 to 1,000 years for them to degrade, and they never really go away. Consequently, they build up in the environment. Microplastics are found in our food, our water, and clothing. All these things cause damage to human and animal cells. Immune responses to microplastics are a cause of heart attacks, stroke, and early death. Some of the chemicals in plastic are endocrine disruptors, which cause infertility and endometriosis. According to the most recent data available from our city employees, 14% of the refuse going into the Iowa City landfill is plastic. So 100 Grannies made Ms. Demery aware of Plastics-Free Lunch Day, and she immediately agreed to have elementary schools in the Iowa City Community Schools participate, and afterwards said that it was a success. So we would like to ask you to consider the following steps. Number 1, expand Plastic-Free Lunch Day to all schools every year. Number 2, revise procurement policies to eliminate single-use plastic items and buy in bulk to reduce the packaging and use recycled packaging. Number 3, choose reusable alternatives such as large bottles of condiments rather than small single-use packages. Use bamboo or compostable plastics in lieu of plastic dinnerware. And number 5, include as part of the curriculum information about the harm caused by plastics and steps that students and families can take to reduce plastic use, such as reusable water bottles and cutlery, wrapping food in plastic alternatives, wearing clothing made from natural fibers, and donating used clothing rather than throwing it away. And we also would ask that you provide Ms. Demery with the additional truck that she needs to pick up composted food waste and recyclable items. And I do have copies of these. Can I pass these out, or?
You can hand them to our board secretary.
Okay.
She will make
Thank
sure
you.
we get them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we will have Sarah Oterson Murphy. Please correct that so I can hear it.
Hi, my name is Sarah Outerson Murphy. My 3 children attend Twain Elementary and Southeast Middle School, and I'm also an English teacher at Jefferson High School in Cedar Rapids. So as a teacher and as a mom, I want to advocate banning phones from the schools throughout the entire school day, from the moment, first bell to the end of the day. This school year, where I teach, Jefferson, has made the switch, and it has been a dramatic improvement. Previously, for several years, I've been teaching there for 6 years, we had bans on phones during learning time, but as I'm sure you can imagine, there were required warnings, wiggle room, exceptions, you name it. The policy became basically meaningless. Now, if a student has a phone visible in their hand at any point, the phone goes to the office. It's just very basic. So this is clarifying for everyone, and I feel like it has made a huge difference. Study halls are extremely productive and focused now compared to before, where 90% of the kids were just on their phone the entire time. Teachers are less stressed because we no longer give out 30 phone warnings a day. We don't have to police the transition periods on and off phones at the beginning or the end of each and every single class period. Students don't pack up 5 minutes early to get on their phones for passing period because there is not going to be a phone during passing period. But there's also other benefits too. So students can't text during passing period to meet up, to plan a meetup to vape or whatever other thing they're not supposed to do in the bathroom. Another is that book circulation has gone up 23% compared to last year. We can't prove that it's because of this, but it's a pretty dramatic change. I noticed during a fight, only 1 student had her phone out to film. Last year, that would have been 15 kids. They just don't have their phones in their pockets anymore. Our school assemblies feel a lot more energetic as well, because we, it's just hard to describe the feeling that when everyone is paying attention. And I truly have not felt that before this year in my time there. And so I think the really important thing is that students are distracted by their phones for a long time after they get off of them. It's not like they put it away and they're no longer distracted. They're thinking about it. If a kid goes to the bathroom and comes back in tears, it's like, I know what you were doing in the bathroom. You know what I mean? And then they're destroyed for the day because they're on social media. They're reading these things that are just ruining their attention span. I think it's really important to give them the 8 hours of uninterrupted time, because goodness knows the rest of the time is open season with their phones. If students need to call home, I either send them with a pass to the main office or I let them use their classroom phone. If a parent needs to contact a student, they call the office, they send a runner, it adds an extra minute. It's not a big deal. The seniors do complain. They're not used to it. I teach a lot of seniors, but I actually had a senior today tell me, I was talking to them about this speech, and he said, when they banned phones this year, I do have to say my grades all went up. And I thought there were two interesting things about that. The first interesting thing was, great, I'm glad that your grades went up. Second thing was, there had been phone bans before, but this is the one that made a difference in his mind. This is what actually made a difference. And this is like a nice kid. Like I've known him for years, and he felt like it made a difference. So what I see at my job is what I want for my own kids. I really would like to see my children off screens during passing time, during lunch, during study halls, during recess until they're 18. So please give our students phone-free schools throughout the entire school day. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes community comment, and next up, we will have our public hearing, which is the 2025 CFI lower level restroom expansion. Vice President Abraham.
Now is the time and place for the public hearing on the proposed plans and specifications for the 2025 CFILL restroom expansion project. The Board of Directors set the date for this public hearing on November 11th, 2025. Notice of public hearing was published in the Iowa City Press Citizen on November 12th, 2025. The district will receive bids on this project at 10 a.m. on January 5th, 2026 at the Facilities Management Conference Center, 1137 South Riverside Drive, Iowa City, Iowa. Notice to contractors will be published as required by law in multiple statewide plan rooms and on the Iowa City Community School District website on December 10th, 2025. Are there any questions from the board? Are there any questions from the public?
That concludes our public hearing. Before we get to tonight's consent agenda, did any directors have questions regarding the bills that they reviewed this cycle? Hearing none, is there any items that directors would like to pull from tonight's consent agenda?
I would like to pull the City High Fine Arts proposal in the Appendix 9. In Appendix 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any other items? Hearing none, is there a motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda minus the City High Fine Arts and Appendix 9.
Second.
Board Secretary Coven, ready to vote?
Online voting is open.
Kim, I'm a yay.
Thank you, Director Finch. All votes have been cast, and the motion carries with all directors voting in favor.
Thank you. First item is the City High Fine Arts expansion. Director Finch.
Sure. Thanks, President Malone. I just wanted to pull it just as a matter of protocol to bring attention to the item because normal, and it's fine that it didn't happen, but we have a policy whereby that should have been in the regular agenda for the public to see. So I'm just pulling it just as a matter of protocol, and yeah, I don't know if the administration has any comments to make about that particular item.
Yeah, thanks, Director Finch. We did miss separating this one out into a separate action step. You guys had approved a new policy. It's 7075G1 maybe, that talks about any project, if it hits the $2 million threshold at step 2, we should be pulling that out of Appendix 9, and some of that's just for some public visibility and also for your information to get a more detailed view of what the project entails. We have done a community engagement meeting at City High that encompassed some information on this project. While we weren't ready to do that tonight because we hadn't prepared a presentation for it, I do think it'd be valuable to come back to you guys at some point with some additional City High information like we've done in the past as we've marched through FMP 2.3, and we could focus a little bit more on the fine arts portion of this, which was the step that was suggested to you here tonight in Appendix 9. So if that's amenable to you guys, we will come back and we'll spend a little bit more time on an agenda item on City High Fine Arts.
Great to me. Thank you.
Are there any other comments on that item or Appendix 9 as a whole? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve Appendix 9?
I move that we approve Appendix 9.
Second.
Board Secretary Coven, ready to vote?
Online voting is open. Director Eastham, did you vote?
No, I didn't have my box come up.
How would you like to vote?
Yes, please.
Thank you. All votes have been cast, and the motion carries with all directors voting in favor.
Thank you. That takes us to tonight's item of retiring board. First up is the canvass of votes from the November 2nd election. Board Secretary Coven.
Yeah, just a second here. I just had it in my hand. Oh, here we go. Okay. I will read the canvass of votes, which was signed by the members of the Johnson County Board of Supervisors, serving as ex officio County Board of Canvassers, and attested by the County Auditor and Clerk of Board of Supervisors. State of Iowa, abstract of votes. Johnson County, Iowa. We, the undersigned members of the County Board of Canvassers, hereby certify the following to be a true and correct abstract of the votes cast in this county at the 2025 city school election held on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, as shown by the tally list returned from several election precincts. Iowa City School Director at Large. David Norper received 2,788 votes. Jennifer Horn Frazier received 8,415 votes. Dan Stevenson received 8,166 votes. Jane Finch received 10,951 votes. Ruthina A. Malone received 10,937 votes. And a scattering received 267 votes for a total of 41,524 votes. We therefore declare Jennifer Horn Frazier to be duly elected for the office of Iowa City School Director at Large, Jane Finch to be duly elected for the office of Iowa City School Director at Large, Ruthina A. Malone to be duly elected for the office of Iowa City School Director at Large. In testimony whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused to be affixed the seal of this county by the Clerk of the Board of Supervisors at Iowa City, the county seat of Johnson County, this Wednesday, November 12th, 2025.
Thank you. And that takes us to recognition of the retiring board member, Sean Eystone.
Excuse me, Director Malone, we do need to do a vote.
Okay.
For the canvass of votes, a motion to accept the canvass of votes.
I motion to accept the canvass of votes.
Second.
And we need to vote?
Yep.
We're ready to vote.
Okay. Online voting is open.
I'm gonna vote yay, but I already shut down my computer so I can
Thank
get
you,
out the
Director.
door.
You thought you were done. Director Malone, did you vote?
Yeah.
I didn't get an answer.
Yes.
You vote yea,
It's-
thank you.
yeah.
All votes have been cast and the motion carries with all directors voting in favor.
Thank you. Now we will turn it over to the recognition of retiring board member Sean Eystone. As we did last time you left us, we will take a moment to allow directors to send you their farewell, best wishes. We'll see you next time.
Good riddances.
Yep, go ahead.
Well, Sean, when I was lucky enough to be appointed to the board to fill your seat previously, you know, I knew I had really big shoes to fill. And, you know, people told me that, and I knew that. And I didn't really understand until I got to work with you now on the board. And I greatly respect your contributions to the board. And you make me laugh. And so it's all good. We really appreciate your service. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll echo Molly. I'm really going to miss you.
Really enjoy serving on this board with you. The work we do is really hard, and so when we get to serve with people like you that are thoughtful and thorough and calm and nice, it makes the work easier and funny. And so you are a person that I look forward to seeing, and I'm really going to miss your presence at the table.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Sean, I also very much appreciate your work on the board. I've learned a number of things on the good side from your service, from working with you, alongside you, and not just in sitting alongside you, but also in doing our work together. I really have been impressed by your diligence and your commitment and your seriousness, as well as your humor, in being a board member. You've contributed a great deal to this district, to the students of this district, and I hope you'll continue to be involved in various productive ways.
Sean, I'm going to make this short because I'm going to guess that your car is already started. But I too am very much going to miss your presence on the board, your wisdom, your calm leadership, your insightful questions. I sincerely appreciate you coming back to the appointment. It's so important to have someone who understands the workings of the board and the institution, has the institutional knowledge that you have. And so you came back, you hit the ground running, and everything was smooth sailing after that. So thank you. I appreciate it, and I'm going to miss you.
Thank you.
Sean, I haven't had a lot of time with you as many of the other members on the board, but I will miss having you be the person that I have to stare at these meetings, because whenever I talk to the rest of the board, it's always this direction. I have Sean, and when I say something that I find humorous and nobody else at this table finds humorous, Sean always gives me a humorous smile like, yeah, that's kind of funny. I will acknowledge you. So thank you, Sean. You'll be missed.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, so I don't write speeches. Oh, I'm okay.
No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go.
Okay. I don't write speeches, and it was the consensus up here the last time I did this, I just winged it, which is highly possible. That right in, but I took notes this time. Otherwise, I would ramble forever. And so I am gonna make it quick. It looks like a lot, but it's not. But this journey started a long time ago, about 10 years ago. In 2020 or 2015, I ran for the board, and it didn't go well. It was bad. So for all those people who try something and then they fail, try it again.
Yeah.
So it didn't go well. But I was elected 8 years and 4 months ago, along with Ruthina and two others that are not here. During that time, I've served with 13 different directors and 2 different superintendents. And there were some really rough times in there. We had 2020. I think we all remember 2020 and have probably tried to forget it. Most people here don't remember. Ruthina will. 2017, 2018, that first year, we met almost weekly through the summer, and we were talking about school pairings, and that transitioned into boundaries. That's never a fun conversation, but it's a necessary thing that we have to do sometimes. So there were some rough times on there. I want to thank this board for giving me the opportunity to come back. I left with time left on my clock, and so I was able to come back and basically fill that same amount of time that I was elected for, so I really appreciate that opportunity. And I have to thank all 13 board members that I have served with, because I did learn something from all of them. I won't say what they all were, because we'll just leave it at that. So some thank yous. I do have to give a special shout out to President Malone. She's the only one, I haven't served on a board without her. She and I, when we got elected with Janet and JP, we made that connection that whole summer at the farmers markets leading up to the election, and it truly made a difference. Like, we got to know each other as people. She made me a better person, and over the years, she's made me just a better ally, a better board member, and just a better friend. So thank you. I have to say thank you to Matt. Matt was named interim superintendent at the same time I was named president at the end of June, early July of 2020. So we had a lot going on at the beginning of that, and I think the fact that we were able to work together made that quite a bit easier. I have to thank Kim at the end. She's made us all better. She makes us look good. She's behind the scenes, but she's the best. And she always has a way of making everyone feel like you're her favorite person in the world. And now that I've said that, it makes me wonder if she even actually likes me. Maybe.
I do.
So, I don't know. And I have to thank my family for putting up with this nonsense for most of the last 8 years. I'm very proud of a handful of things, and I wanted to mention them. I'm very proud that we made Matt our superintendent. I think that our district is in a much better place because you're here and everything that you've done, so I appreciate that. Our consistent improvement to our facilities over the years is something to be very proud of. Our early childhood expansion that we've done is remarkable. Just a more functional collaboration between the board and the admin team. I told you I've been watching this for a long time, long before I was on the board, and it wasn't like that for many years. It was not functional. So I just think we've got a lot that has happened. If I could ask for one more thing, can we really get us across the finish line on moving to semesters instead of trimesters? Please. And then I just wanted to kind of finish with some words of advice for Director-elect Horn Fraser, as well as reminders to everyone else up here. You know, there's going to be loud, pervasive people, right? You're going to hear things from a handful of people just over and over and over, and it's going to sound like it's everyone, and it's just not, right? But what I ask you to do is just remember, you know, your why. Why are you sitting up here? And if your decision being made is in the best interest of our students, then you're doing a good job. Even if those loud, pervasive voices tell you you're not. So just remember that why. I've told people before, I have one vote sitting up here that I regret. And it actually happened at our organizational meeting the day we were sat on the board. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it was because I listened to a lot of outside noise instead of just doing my job. And it was the singular vote that I regret doing. So just be true to yourself and think of your why. Take the work seriously, but not yourself, right? It's okay to laugh at yourself. It's okay to laugh with others. The work is important, but we're all just people. We're not, us board members, we're not the most important people in this room. All these people over here, and superintendent here, they're doing all the work on a daily basis. So we can sit up here at this pretty board table and look important. We're not the most important people here. Our job is to make all of their jobs easier. So keep that in mind. And I always want to assume that there's somebody else in the room that knows more than I do, because that's generally true. And then something else, just apologize. I originally wrote apologize when you're wrong, but just apologize. You know, it takes very little effort to apologize, and it can accomplish so much, and that's something I'm trying to be better at. We can all kind of hold on to it like, oh, I was right, and I got into an argument with someone, and, you know, just apologize, let it go, right? There's gonna be other things that we can accomplish together as long as we've, you know, mended those fences and stuff. And so lastly, if there is another opening on the board and you're looking at appointing, I've already changed my phone number, so don't bother.
All right. Thank you, Sean. He probably made me go last because he thought I was going to make him cry.
Potentially.
See, was not. but we do have a recognition plaque that's coming. The company is just running a little bit behind, so as soon as that comes in, Kim will reach out. I do want to thank you for your service, your dedication to the board, for your friendship. It has meant the world to me. I've learned so much from you. I've grown, hopefully to be a better person that you have seen over the last 8 years because of the relationship and the bond that we have built. There was some trauma bonding, but also some great times that we had and some great work that we have been able to see unfold, especially moving to our middle school model, because I know you were a huge supporter of that and pushed a lot of us. Me, like, that's stupid. I don't want to do that. But hearing that, and of course our staff, I really do appreciate everything that you've given to the district. And I know you're just stepping away from the board table. That does not mean you will stop being a champion, not only for our district, but also for public education. So thank you, friend.
Thank you.
All right. And before I adjourn, we're going to adjourn our meeting, and it'll just be a few minutes before we start up the next one. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting and to retire this board.
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
All right. Board Secretary Coven, ready to vote? Oh, yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.